Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, many of Lexington's aging water mains aren't able to handle the frigid start to January. Paige Williams reports on just how much the resulting repairs have cost the city.
Then, Aspen tells us what kind of weather we can expect for the last week of January. Also in Lexington, a business pitch competition looks to fill empty storefronts downtown and create new jobs.
And later, coffee lovers are lining up for a popular chain cafe that recently began serving at VMI. Next, what one local coffee maker thinks of the new competition in town.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Faith Isbell.
And I'm Catherine Young. The president of Michigan State University has resigned, and administrators are facing pressure to do the same following the sentencing of their former employee Larry Nassar for widespread sexual abuse. Nassar was sentenced to up to 175 years in prison. CNN's Natasha Chen reports.
Former sports physician Larry Nassar has been sentenced to up to 175 years in prison.
I'm giving you 175 years, which is 2,100 months. I've just signed your death warrant.
We heard the last 3 victim impact statements Wednesday morning, bringing the total to more than 160 powerful and emotional accounts of Nassar's abuse.
You stole my innocence from me. I was depressed, had nightmares, and I pushed people away, including my own parents. So Larry, I ask you, how are you feeling right now?
The judge said this to Nassar during sentencing.
Your decision to assault was precise, calculated, manipulative, devious, despicable. It is my honor and privilege to sentence you. Because, sir, you do not deserve to walk outside of a prison ever again.
Nassar also addressed his victims before being taken away.
There are no words that can describe the depth and breadth of how sorry I am for what has occurred. I will carry your words with me for the rest of my days.
In Lansing, Michigan, I'm Natasha Chen reporting.
President Donald Trump said on Wednesday that he will testify under oath before special counsel Robert Mueller, who is leading an investigation into Russian involvement in the 2016 presidential election.
I'm looking forward to it, actually.
You want to?
Do you have a date set? Here's the start, just so you understand. There's been no collusion whatsoever. There's no obstruction whatsoever. And I'm looking forward to it. I would love to do that, and I'd like to do it as soon as possible.
When will you
Good luck,
do it, Mr.
everybody.
President? Do you have a date set?
So here's the story.
Do you have a date set, Mr. President?
I don't know. No, I guess they're talking about 2 or 3 weeks, but I would love to do it.
In person.
You know, again, I have to say, subject to my lawyers and all of that, but I would love to do it.
To reach a higher standard, you would do it under oath.
Oh, I would do it under oath, yeah.
Mueller interviewed Attorney General Jeff Sessions earlier this week. President Trump arrived in Davos, Switzerland yesterday for the World Economic Forum, where he is expected to speak on his America First policies. CNN's Jeff Zeleny is in Switzerland.
For the first time in nearly 2 decades, a sitting U.S. president is taking part in the World Economic Forum.
The economy is doing very well.
Great.
I'm going to Davos to get them to bring back a lot of money. They're going to invest a lot of money in this country.
President Trump is scheduled to give a speech Friday in front of world leaders. White House officials were tight-lipped about what the president will say, but likely topics include tax cuts and deregulation. And Mr. Trump is expected to make the case that his economic policies will boost U.S. growth and increase investment.
I made the statement that if we didn't do the regulation cutting, which I think is actually maybe more important than even the tax cuts, but the regulations, I think you would have had a much different situation.
Free and fair trade will also be discussed in great detail.
If you speak to any world leader, obviously they're going to have the priorities of their own country are going to be first, but they're going to do that in the context of a global world that we operate in.
We believe that freer trade and open markets is unequivocally good for people in Australia, and we think it's unequivocally good for people around the world that participate in it.
Many are wondering how President Trump's populist message will be received.
Our role is not to comment what the US president is doing, but to do what Europe needs to do, and to have the political and economic role that Europe has to have.
Mr. Trump is the first sitting U.S. president to take part in this forum since President Clinton in 2000. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring is backing a bill in the state legislature that would define and establish domestic terrorism as a crime at the state level. The proposed law would allow police to designate and penalize groups that are engaged in violent or criminal acts intended to intimidate others based on race, religion, or other factors. The bill comes in response to a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville in August where one counter-protester was killed.
Buena Vista resident Stanley Coffey is the newest member of the Buena Vista City Council. On Thursday, the council voted 5-1 to select Coffey to serve the remainder of Mayor Billy Fitzgerald's term on council. Coffey said his goal is to bring more industry to Buena Vista. In the election last November, Coffey ran as a write-in candidate and lost to council member Tyson Cooper. Coffey will serve on the council until a special election on November 6th.
Main Street Lexington just launched a program designed to bring new businesses downtown. Ellie Cosgrove has the story.
14 storefronts are vacant in downtown Lexington.
Having an empty storefront, I often say it feels like a smile with a broken tooth.
Main Street Lexington Executive Director Stephanie Wilkinson helped start a new business launch program that she hopes will fix the city's broken smile.
I think we could get 5 to 8 new businesses, maybe 10, which would probably mean somewhere between 10 and 25 new jobs, and that would be a huge bonus for this community.
LaunchLex is an 8-week business training program made possible by a $60,000 grant from the state. A pitch competition at the end of the program will determine which businesses will fill Lexington's empty storefronts and receive a share of the grant money.
It's hard to start a business, so having any kind of assistance that you can provide kind of in a managed way is really great.
33 business hopefuls applied online and 20 were selected. Eric Jones was one of them.
I'm just looking to make a career change and kind of capitalize on a passion I've had for a long time. I've been a home brewer for 25 years, so I'd like to open a brewery.
The aspiring business owners will learn about business plans and how to put them together. The first training session was this past Tuesday.
Even today in the first class, I was writing notes of stuff that I wish I had put in my business plan. I'm going to go back and edit it.
I'm here on South Main Street and I'm standing in front of one of the vacant storefronts that very well could benefit from LaunchLex and could see new customers coming in through the doors because of the program. Winners of the pitch competition and those who receive grant money must open their doors before September 30th of 2018. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Ellie Cosgrove.
The pitch contest will be held on March 20th and is open to the public.
When we come back, the latest on President Trump's face-off against city mayors about the future of undocumented immigrants.
And we'll show you how a cold start to 2018 is impacting local organizations.
It's coming to the end of January and it's a little windy and cold out here. It's highs of 50s and lows of 30s going to this weekend, but stay tuned for the full forecast.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
In Buena Vista, Lexington, and Rockbridge County, residents experienced unusually cold temperatures to kick off 2018. We may be back to nicer weather for now, but some local organizations are still feeling the effects of the freeze. Paige Williams reports.
Local residents may have put away their shovels, but the Lexington Public Works Department is still dealing with ramifications from the recent cold snap. Major water main breaks have occurred at 17 locations since the first of the year. Public Works Director Jeff Martone said the breaks have cost taxpayers about $60,000 so far, and the pipes keep failing even as temperatures climb.
So just because our ambient temperatures above ground are getting into the 60s, you know, the water temperature in the pipes are still remaining pretty cold.
Lexington's pipes are particularly vulnerable to breaks, Martone said, because they are nearly 100 years old. Public Works plans to replace the pipes as part of a 30-year capital improvement plan. Superintendent of Water Utilities, John Smith, said 17 breaks in a 3-week period is rare, even for an aging infrastructure.
First, I've been with the city 39 years, and this is the last time we had anything like this was in the mid 80s, about 82, 83, we had a winter that was comparable to what we've had this year.
Smith said that the pipes are more likely to break when there are large fluctuations in temperature, such as we've seen in the past few weeks. Though temperatures are warming now, the average in Rockbridge County this January has been 20 degrees lower than historical averages, according to the organization U.S. Climate Data. Fire Rescue Chief Nathan Ramsey advises residents to take freezing temperatures seriously.
Most of the time we try to just tell people just to stay in at least for the day or half the day until the sun comes out and warms things up.
And for the rest of January, daylight temperatures look to remain above freezing. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Paige Williams.
Ramsey said local residents should prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Next week shouldn't be too bad though. Aspen, tell us about the weather for this last week of January.
Well, Faith, you're going to want to keep bundled up because it's only getting colder. Let's take a look. So here we see today's high is 44 and we have a low of 27. The barometric pressure is 30.44 with pretty slow wind speeds of 3 miles per hour. Humidity is 37%. Here we have our regional report. We can see that in Lynchburg and Charlottesville, we both have 43 degrees. Buena Vista is 44. Lexington and Stanton are both 42. And Covington is by far the coldest with 32 degrees. And Roanoke is the warmest with 47 degrees. Now we have our 5-day forecast. Tomorrow, Friday, it's sunny with a high of 56 and a low of 33. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the sun leaves and we have clouds. We have a high of 57 on Saturday with a low of 42. Gets colder on Sunday, 52 high and a 33 low. And Monday, colder still with a 48 high and a 23 low. Tuesday, the sun comes back, but it's the coldest day and it's 34 high and a 19 low.
A senior United Nations official said attacks on Rohingya Muslims appear to be coming. The UN says it is not yet safe for hundreds of thousands living in refugee camps in Bangladesh to begin returning home to Myanmar. More than 680,000 Rohingya Muslims fled Myanmar's Rakhine state beginning in August after Myanmar's security forces began clearance operations in their villages. That action follows attacks by Rohingya insurgents on police posts. A UNICEF deputy executive said that many Rohingya want to eventually return to their villages in Myanmar, but they fear for their safety if they were to go back now.
New jobs may be headed to Rockbridge County. The carpet manufacturing company Mohawk Industries Incorporated is renewing a 5-year contract with its Glasgow plant. Mohawk will invest $10 million in the plant and will create 15 new jobs. Rockbridge County Director of Community Development Sam Krickenberger says this agreement also provides job security for the company's current 700 employees. Virginia successfully competed against manufacturing plants in South Carolina and Georgia because of its location near the company's markets. The decision will help the plants transition to a 4-wall facility, which means all products will be made in-house.
And in Richmond, Governor Ralph Northam is wrapping up his second week since succeeding Terry McAuliffe on January 13th. The Virginia General Assembly's 2018 session began on January 10th, and Northam has already promoted initiatives to raise teachers' salaries and expand the state's Medicaid program under Obamacare. Northam is also pushing Medicaid reform. He wants to raise reimbursements for healthcare providers and help able Virginians covered by the program find jobs or enroll in job training.
Washington is buzzing today after several prominent Democratic mayors publicly declined President Donald Trump's invitation to a White House meeting because of the Justice Department's recent crackdown on sanctuary cities. Trump had invited more than 100 mayors from across the country to a Wednesday discussion on national infrastructure improvements, but many canceled after the Justice Department sent letters to officials in 23 of America's largest sanctuary cities on Wednesday, accusing them of violating federal law and threatening them with legal action.
Part of a package. He didn't do that. So we're going to have to start on a new basis, and the wall offers.
After tension between Republicans and Democrats reached a fever pitch during last weekend's government shutdown, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer withdrew his offer of funding for Trump's proposed border wall from future immigration negotiations. Disagreement over DACA was a central cause of the shutdown. Trump fired back at Schumer in a tweet shortly after, labeling him "Cryin' Chuck" and saying, "If there is no wall, there is no DACA."
In the Virginia General Assembly, some lawmakers are proposing raising the threshold for grand larceny, arguing that the move could ease jail overcrowding. Currently, stealing $200 or more in goods is a felony in Virginia. Advocates of the bills want to raise the threshold to $500 or more. Some say a higher threshold will encourage thieves to steal more expensive items, but statistics show that raising the threshold doesn't impact theft rates or crime. Grand larceny arrests made up 6% of Rockbridge County's total arrests for the past 3 years. Still ahead on the Rockbridge Report, the world's largest coffeehouse chain is now operating in Lexington. That's right, Abigail Somerville will be reporting live from a local Starbucks.
And we have what you need to know about the Mountain Valley Pipeline, which may be coming to Virginia soon.
And you know, I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
When it comes to saving money,
Boss! What? Harry!
don't act like a baby.
Oh, it's like they're having their own little meeting.
This is so humiliating. Be the boss.
I'm the boss. What the? Power nap.
You were saying. And make a budget.
Let's get to work.
Need a little help?
Stacy, read back the notes.
I can't read. What's it say?
Create a personalized savings plan and get other tools and tips.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
At feedthepig.org.
Coffee drinkers are buzzing about a new choice for their brew in Lexington. It's big news when any chain comes to Lexington, and bigger when it's Starbucks. Abigail Somerville is live at the new coffee shop. Abigail?
Thanks, Faith and Catherine. Local coffee lovers can rejoice. A Starbucks has finally landed in Lexington. I'm here on the Virginia Military Institute campus where the cafe is now open for business. And I got a chance to sit down and talk with VMI's head of dining services about the new Starbucks.
Come here and you can tell by how they order that they are Starbucks folks.
The cafe opened on the VMI campus in early January, and it's already attracting a variety of customers.
We're actually starting to see a lot more people from town. A lot of W&L students are starting to come in. It's starting to pick up, so we're seeing an increase. And a good mixture.
I had to come and check it out today. I'm glad I did, because when word gets out, it's going to be nice. I'm surprised one hasn't been brought to Lexington before now.
However, VMI's Starbucks is not a Starbucks store. It's a We Proudly Serve Starbucks coffee franchise.
It has about 90% of the drinks. When you're a Proudly Serve, you're licensed to do the beverages, but you're not licensed to do the food.
The Starbucks is not a company licensed store, but the baristas still have the necessary training.
We had a manager from Duquesne University who runs the largest Starbucks in Pittsburgh come down, and she spent a week with us to train our key baristas and make sure that we were off on the right step.
Since it opened a few weeks ago, there has been a steady stream of customers.
Nice thing about Lexington is so many folks are within walking distance that creates that nice sense of community.
The owner of local coffee shop Pronto is not worried about the Starbucks. He thinks people will continue to support local businesses.
There's a little bit of curiosity around it, but we've all been to a Starbucks. It's not new.
The parking near the Starbucks can be tight, but Zany said it's been manageable so far. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Abigail Somerville. Back to you, Faith and Catherine.
Thanks, Abigail. The federal government this week approved the Mountain Valley Pipeline to begin construction in West Virginia. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission granted limited approval for the project to start construction in 5 West Virginia counties. Many Virginians still strongly oppose the 300-mile natural gas pipeline. Some environmental clubs say the pipeline cannot be built without damaging the quality of Virginia's air and water. 6 groups who oppose the pipeline have asked a federal appeals court in Washington to halt the start of construction because of the project's environmental consequences. The pipeline company has not yet sought approval to begin the project in Virginia. Virginia lawmakers are introducing several bills to increase the number of teachers in response to the wave of baby boomer retirements. Teacher vacancies have increased by 40% in the last decade statewide. Currently, Rockbridge County and Lexington City schools are fully staffed. However, local officials are concerned about the future, especially in the areas of math and special education. Former Governor McAuliffe's educational directive hopes to decrease paperwork and make it more financially attractive to be a teacher.
The science world is abuzz as Chinese researchers announced yesterday that they had successfully cloned a monkey. The scientists used the same techniques that famously produced Dolly the sheep in 1996. The monkeys mark the first ever clone of primates, an order of mammals that includes humans.
When we come back, James has the sports update.
And we give you an inside look at a recent visit to Lexington by the daughter of civil rights champion Martin Luther King Jr.
redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Oh, emojis! I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you. She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand.
Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Zane!
With this year's Baseball Hall of Fame announcing its 2018 class and Generals Swimming scoring big wins against Randolph College last week, it's been a big week for sports. Our sports reporter James Laverty is here to give us the full rundown. James?
Thank you, Catherine. Here on campus, the Washington and Lee men's basketball team lost 90-54 against Roanoke College last night, sending them to an overall record of 12-6. They'll next play Guilford at home on Saturday. The women's basketball team also lost last night with a final score of 72-55 against Emory and Henry. The 11-6 Generals will next face off against Guilford in an away game on Saturday. The Washington and Lee men's and women's swim team had a meet against Randolph College last Thursday. The women won 154-39, while the men won 147-43. Their next competition and last home meet of the season will take place on Saturday against St. Mary's. The Rockbridge County High School men's basketball team lost to Spotswood 63-52 in a home game on Tuesday night, bringing them to a 4-5 record this season. The Wildcats will next game will take place at Fort Defiance at home tonight at 7. The 0-9 Rockbridge girls basketball team also fell to Spotwood at home on Tuesday night, losing 70-15. They'll also face off against Fort Defiance tonight at home at 7. In national news, Atlanta Braves third baseman Chipper Jones, Baltimore Orioles right fielder Vladimir Guerrero, Cleveland Indians slugger Jim Thome, and San Diego Padres pitcher Trevor Hoffman were inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame on Wednesday. This is only the 4th time in history that 4 players have been elected in 1 year. Faith and Catherine, back to you.
Thanks, James. What a phenomenal achievement for 4 fantastic baseball players. The youngest daughter of civil rights champion Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke to a full crowd at Washington and Lee's Keller Theater Sunday night. King delivered the keynote address for the university's annual celebration of her father's legacy. Emma Durr was there.
Nearly 60 years ago, in the heart of the civil rights movement, W&L's Board of Trustees refused to invite Martin Luther King Jr. to speak on campus. Last Sunday, the university welcomed his daughter, Bernice King, to stage for a speech on racial reconciliation. King said the country must remember her father's nonviolent philosophy in addressing America's history of racism. She said that it is everyone's responsibility to take action against inequality.
There's a racial problem in this country that we just refuse to deal with. And the more we keep trying to opt towards diversity and ignore that, it's going to keep rearing its head and it's going to get very ugly. And we're going to
Members of the audience asked King her thoughts on Confederate memorials, a controversial topic nationally and in Lexington, where Generals Robert E. Lee and Thomas Stonewall Jackson are buried. King said that communities should discuss the fate of memorials, including Washington and Lee University's name. First, King said, communities should address the root of racism.
I think if we overcome the problem, the logical next step to come out of it will be, hey, this name doesn't fit us anymore.
W&L's student president, Mason Greist, welcomed King to the stage. He said he hoped her speech would ignite student activism.
We as students kind of need to take courage and not worry about who doesn't want to get on board with student activism and trying to bring about racial equality and just kind of go for it.
WNL sophomore Garrett Clinton gave a tribute to King on behalf of the historically black Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity.
I knew that I had to use this platform in a good way. So when writing the speech, I just knew that I had to speak for all students because I would never get an opportunity like this again.
King's keynote speech culminated WNL's 10-day celebration of her father. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Emma Durr.
That's all for today on the Rockbridge Report. See you next Tuesday at 3 p.m. for a live news update on Channel 18.
Or you can visit us on the web anytime at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Thanks for watching.